Hello, welcome to All of the Above, where we talk about spirituality, healing modalities, energy, intuitive development, the mystical, and any and everything related to spiritual awakening. My name is Meredith, and I'm so excited that you're here and to jump into today's episode. Hello, welcome back to another episode of All the Above. This is my first video episode, so I am so happy to see all of you, for you to see me on this episode. It's also my first interview, so really, really excited and grateful to share that with all of you. And my dear friend, Reiki sister, and just truly, the only way I can describe her is an earth angel, Erla soul. We have a really beautiful conversation about her journey, her spiritual awakening, her practices, and talk about so many things here. It's really such a fun conversation. We go into herbalism, Reiki, breathwork, truly so many things. So I hope you enjoy this journey with Erla and I and can get to know her a bit better. And all of her information is linked in the show notes, so you can find her and join her Soul Sanctuary membership. I'm over there too, so you'll see me there. I think you'll enjoy all of Erla's insights and just the way she speaks and just the way she shares wisdom is so profound and so beautiful. And I didn't share this in our episode, but I remember the first time I heard Erla speak in our Reiki circle, I was just like, oh my gosh, this soul is just here on earth sharing the most beautiful wisdom. So, with that, here we go. Enjoy. I hope you're loving the video format. I am loving this. It feels more intimate. Sending you all love and light, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay, thank you guys. Hi, Erla. Welcome to All the Above. I'm so excited and so grateful that you're here. And truly, this feels like a dream having you here and doing this. And just thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. This just feels so sweet and aligned, and especially after the really powerful eclipse portal and new moon energy that we're coming out of, and just with the autumn equinox too, it feels like just over the last few days things have kind of started to land and we're
Mm.
coming into more of a calm energy. So it feels like a cozy chat we're having.
I love it. It does. And I guess a little bit about how we know each other. So this timing feels really divine to me because almost a year ago we were together where we met in Ohio with our beautiful teacher, Laura Elliott, at our Reiki master training. So it just feels so beautiful that here we are almost a year later and you're doing exciting new things and I am too. And I was just thinking back to our conversation when we had lunch that day outside together and just how in flow it was and how just truly hearing you speak, anything that you say it's like healing. It truly is. So anyway, long story short, I'm so happy to be doing this and that you're here. And
Thank you so much.
yeah. Oh, and
Yeah.
so yes, you're a Reiki master, an herbalist, a healing arts practitioner. I was trying to write a little summary and it just feels like there's too much you're so much more than all of the titles. You're like, I'm like, okay, I think Erla is just an earth angel. That's really how I see you, and so many others do too. So, yes.
That resonates. That definitely resonates. And I really appreciate that. Yeah, I've also, as you know, been going through so many expansions and contractions and transitions and shifts with my offerings and what I feel is most resonant with me as I continue and evolve on my own spiritual journey. And especially over the last year after our beautiful Reiki Master Retreat. And having that experience, there's just been such a purification process happening in every area of my life, in my relationships, in my just even like the dynamics of myself and my family, and how I'm showing up with more love and compassion. And especially in my career, like, okay, being kind and compassionate towards myself, what kind of life do I want to live? And how can I shine my light into the world in the most true and pure way possible without needing to put any external expectations on myself or trying to
Mm.
please others. And it's been a
Ugh,
long journey. So it's like hard to put labels on myself because just feel like there's this constant contraction and expansion happening.
I love that. And I feel the same way. It really has been a short and a fast year all at once and has felt
Hmm.
like I feel like I've had these shifts that have felt very loud to me, but maybe have looked quiet to other people, if that makes sense. Um,
Yes. Yes.
it's been a
Yeah.
theme.
There's been these moments where I've really surprised myself and maybe even touched on some old patterns or old stories in my subconscious that have come up to the forefront. And I've been like, whoa, I thought I was past this, or oh, I didn't realize that there was still this part of me that wants to be processed. And I think also just with the Pisces Virgo axis that we're on right now, we are in a time of deep healing and yeah, to be in the field that we're in and to have the interests and the passions that we do, it's the highest honor and privilege. And I'm so grateful that my soul is interested in all of these things.
Oh, I love you. That's truly just that's so beautiful, Erla.
Mm.
Um, I guess with that, what was your sort of first spiritual maybe experience? Have you always felt spiritual and on this path? And has it been clear to you? Just what does that kind of look like for you, thinking back?
I would say yes. And I think even as a child, I wouldn't say that I was consciously thinking, oh, I am spiritual and I am this and I am that. Although I was raised in a very religious household, a Christian household, but also my mother is a yoga instructor and
Mm.
very, very spiritual. And I grew up with her always taking flower essences and doing her chanting in the morning. And we
Oh,
had a yoga studio at home, actually. So she would have all these beautiful clients coming in to practice
mm,
yoga at the house, at the studio at home. So I always had this around me, and I went to Catholic school for a few years. So I always had this awareness of a higher power.
mm,
And my biological father, so yeah, my parents are divorced, and I have my stepfather, who's like really my father figure, but then I have my biological father, who I'm not as close with anymore, but we had really beautiful, and I might even share more about that, but
mm,
we had really beautiful times in my childhood where he would bring me out into nature. So he's a
mm,
mountain guide,
mm,
and
wow,
by career and, just highest life's work, what he does is he brings groups of travelers into the highlands in Iceland and
mm,
um, brings them out for days at a time, yeah, camping and hiking and all of that. And
mm,
I remember as a child going with him into the highlands and just having these really, really um, just beautiful experiences of stillness
mm,
and silence and just being completely awestruck by nature and feeling like, okay, there is a higher power.
mm,
Nature is a higher power. And then, having been exposed to yoga and religion and spirituality in that way, I always was aware that there was something so much greater than what is just here and now.
mhm,
And yeah, also having moved to the States when I was 6 years old from Iceland, my mom got remarried and brought me to the States, which
mm,
is how I came from Iceland to here, where I am now visiting in the States. Moving to the States with my mom when I was 6, I had this experience of not belonging.
mm,
And I think this is so much of why I started on my spiritual path was that I looked different. I had a very different name. People couldn't pronounce my name, and people couldn't understand what my mother was saying because she had such a strong accent. And
mm,
I just felt so different from the Italian Greek community that I moved into. And I just had such a deep knowing that I was, first of all, not like the other kids.
mm,
And secondly, that I would end up moving back home to Iceland because that was where my soul and my spirit was meant to have
mm.
its life's work be taking place.
Chills.
So, yeah, and just my entire childhood through middle school and high school and even through college, I had a really hard time finding my footing and my grounding because I felt like I lived two separate lives. So I
Mm.
had my life in Iceland with my father and my extended family and all my cousins and my friends there. And then my life in the States where I had also friends and family and school and everything there. So it was almost like I had this split life, and it was always as if I was waiting to be able to switch on my gifts and switch on my potential by coming back to Iceland. And it wasn't really that I started to find peace within myself and my lived experience in the States, which is where I am now visiting. I didn't really start to feel at peace here until I started actually practicing yoga.
Wow.
And having grown up around my mother practicing yoga all the time and having these beautiful people coming to our home, and my mom's friends are all amazing
Mm.
goddesses. Um, it took me a while to figure out that, okay, this is amazing, and I believe it, and I know this is the right thing for me to do. I started going to yoga classes just at the local gym, and then started taking classes with my mom, and also just got really into stretching and moving my body on my own. Yoga became such an unbelievably illuminating and expanding and healing practice for me.
Mm.
And yoga has always been there for me.
Mm.
Since I was 16 years old, started practicing yoga.
Wow.
I came home into my body. I landed in my environment for the first time. I began to look around and feel, oh, it doesn't really matter where I am because I have this energy residing within me, and that's what matters the most.
Oh,
Um, yeah, so the yoga was, I think, what really switched me on to realizing that I am a spiritual being and that you can come to peace just by you being a body, coming into
mm.
presence and connecting with your energy.
That is so beautiful. And 16 feels pretty young to be getting into yoga and doing that. I think of it more as later on in life, most people kind of find it. So that's young. Like, I don't know that I've been in a yoga class with like a teenager in my yoga class ever. So
Oh,
that's
it was so
young.
funny. Yeah, it was me and my best friend at the time, just always going to this one yoga class. And yeah, it was just us and a bunch of people in their 40s and 50s. And they were always like, who are these, who are these
Children
girls?
over there. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it was really sweet. But, I definitely was not the perfect teenager. And even, going through college and past that, part of my spiritual path has definitely been the expansion and also the contraction of like denying my gifts and denying my
mm,
intuition and being like, oh, this is too much and I can't carry all this. And, I was still always doing yoga and meditating and having my crystals with me. I have a handful of crystals with
oh
me
my gosh,
here,
same.
actually.
I have so many behind me, like little
Wait, which one's the
friends.
smoky quartz?
Yes, it's like a twin
Uh,
peak. And then this one is my best friend right now. This one, a Lemurian quartz.
So
Yeah,
beautiful.
I have more over all around me, but I love that.
Yeah, it's like the crystals always have followed me. And Um, yeah, it's like I always had these tools around me, yoga, crystals, meditation, pulling cards, kind of these like, spiritual tools that, we often begin with, but they really always stuck with me, even in the times in college where I was in my party girl,
Mm, all of us.
techno rave era, it still was always there. And even at that time, I was interning at a meditation studio and was
Mm.
really interested in channeling. But on the weekends, I was partying really hard and drinking, and it's just
I've been
all
there
in
too.
that. Yeah, yeah.
I
So,
love that though. And I love your honesty in sharing that too, because I feel like someone might just look at your image and how just it's like maybe you've just always been this
mhm,
pristine, pure, clean vessel and admitting that,
mhm.
the rave phase. I love it.
It's
Thank you.
yeah, I love that part of myself too. And I send that version of myself so much love and so much compassion and gratitude for having moved through all of those things and, um, yeah, all of the challenges that that brought and how also that in turn taught me to be more in tune with my body.
Mm.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like now I feel like live a very, I live a more monastic life, I would say. I just
Me
like
too.
spend my days moving my body and meditating and praying and being out in nature as much as I can. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that I would be so content with where I am now if I hadn't had all of those experiences and all of the trauma and pain that had included in it
Mhm.
as well.
I really relate to you. I feel like our timelines are a little bit similar in a general sense of
Hmm.
that. Um,
Absolutely. And I feel so many healers and healing arts practitioners have really moved through a similar thing where they had to go so deep into the repression and denial of their gifts
mm,
in order to really allow the gifts to come through and say, okay, you really have to listen now.
mm,
And my biggest awakenings, in the more intense way, have come from these moments where I've gone so intensely against my intuition,
mhm,
in which my spirit just comes in and intervenes and says, okay, we've been whispering, but now we're gonna scream at you because we've been trying to come through that this relationship isn't working, this movement style isn't working, this diet isn't working, this job isn't working, this, situation isn't working.
mm,
And something really big has to happen in order for us to wake up. And I think, as challenging as it is, this is how we evolve in the really biggest ways.
mm,
And even with people that we love, we might want to change people that we love. We might want to support a family member in recovery or healing or taking better care of themselves, but people have to do it on their own terms.
mm,
And oftentimes, if it's a really old pattern or a really strong karmic loop, something that's been with us for a very long time, maybe even many lifetimes, it does sometimes require that sort of initiation to shock us and wake us up to our intuition and bring us to that place. So that was what, my entire life up until probably age 23 was all about. And I'm still having initiations, right? Just in different ways.
I love that word. Initiation has felt really powerful and resonant. I think since our Reiki
Mhm.
retreat, that felt like a big initiation. But then, I mean, my whole life I can think back and kind of place certain initiations. So
Yes.
it feels ongoing too. I know we're not through with them.
Yeah, and initiations can be really uplifting and beautiful and these exquisite moments of clarity and wow, oh my goodness, crying tears of beauty and wonder and awe. But they can also be when we're in our rock bottom and our spirit is just really wanting to take over and show us where we can bring more light into our lives. And we've had both, that's life, we dance through the really powerful, beautiful ones and the powerful, dark ones.
Oh, it's so beautiful and so
Mm.
true for me too. I don't think if I've had not had my lowest, darkest moments, there's no way that I would be here
Mhm.
now, maybe at some point, but I think it helped me with the timeline to be where I am
Right.
now and kind of looking back and like, okay, wow, that moment where I was just on my knees, like having to surrender and but then woke me up to the
Yeah.
light.
And this is our karma. In a lot of these big initiations that we have, there's always, or maybe not always, but very often a common thread through all of them. And I feel that so many of these really big, more traumatic initiations that I've had have all been around being in right relationship with myself and others, and really knowing when to draw the line with people,
Mhm.
and really being able to pick up on safety and security and yeah, relationships. Relationships have
Mhm.
been a big theme for me.
The boundaries too, I think, are hard as a sensitive person. For a lot of us,
Mhm.
it's just like feeling other people's energy so strongly and differentiating the energy too, and then not wanting
Yeah.
to hurt them, wanting to help them. It can be
Yes.
tough.
Absolutely. I feel sometimes when I am really tuned in and I am in a place of connection with myself that you just physically can feel what somebody's going through and you want to help them. And I think in my younger years, maybe even with partners that I had, or yeah, like romantic interests, or even maybe friendships that weren't super aligned, having this intuitive pull to be of support, or maybe understanding on some vibrational level what they were going through and wanting to be there to support them or be a part of that in some way because it felt familiar to maybe something we have dealt with ourselves,
Mhm.
either, in our childhood or in a past lifetime even. Um, but now I think now that we've stepped more into our authority and our intuition of knowing, Okay, like you don't always have to step in that way. You can be compassionate and you can hold space in a completely different way. You don't have to like get so involved and really move through the dirt with everybody, right?
Oh, yeah, that's been a lesson for me too, and I feel like I'm finally seeing it a little bit more clearly. Um, that's a lot. That is, it's powerful, and it's like we all have such a different journey too, but reaching
Right.
for that same place and letting more light in and just opening up to it more and more.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, Along with that, what does your kind of spiritual practice look like right now? What are the things you're doing or leaning into or learning more about? I'm sure yours is extensive, as is mine. It's like
Yes.
our
Oh
whole
my gosh,
life.
we could talk about this forever. It is our whole life. And okay, my spiritual practice just, I just have to say this because obviously, my spiritual practice is my life and moving through my day with as much presence and clarity and ease and grace as possible. But really what that looks like and what the structure of that is really doing something every single day to tend to my body, mind, and spirit.
Mm,
And just to have one of those, each of those layers tended to in some way each day
mm,
is really like the core tenet of my practice. And, right now, body, okay, tending to the body for me right now in this exact moment in my life looks like going on an hour or maybe even 2 hour hike in the
mm,
woods, and really being outside and not having anything in my ears, just being really, really present and looking around and taking in the smells of the autumn leaves and
mm,
listening to the birds and the wind. Um, for my mind, for my mind right now, well, the walking definitely, but also stretching, which is also for the body, but journaling, I'm getting back into journaling, which
mm,
feels, and journaling is like, you know, I'm not really writing what's going on. It's more so channeling.
mm.
So the question that I like to ask myself when I'm journaling is, what does my spirit want me to know today?
Oh,
And
oh,
seeing what comes up. So sitting in a little meditation and maybe saying a little prayer before and then asking, what does my spirit want me to know today? Or what does my spirit want from me today?
mm,
And then for my spirit, of course, like these are all interconnected, but for my spirit, my Reiki practice is everything. And probably in a similar way to you, coming into meditation every day and bringing my hands into prayer position, gasho, and uniting my
mm,
yin and yang energies and coming into presence in the resonance of the heart and the universal energy flow. Um, Even if it's just for 5 minutes, or some days it might be 30 minutes or an hour,
mm,
depending on how much spaciousness I feel that I have that day. But that, and then what I'm really, really deepening into now is my practice of sitting with plant spirits
oh,
and through flower essences. So right now I actually have with me my rose elixir. It's a rose glycerite
mm,
with a wild rose flower essence in it. And I made this earlier in the summer, and I have been really, really connected with the rose for many years, as so many of the women in our healing lineage are. And the rose, I mean, there's just a very specific resonance connected with the rose. And I feel like I don't even have to say anything about it. The rose just speaks for herself, why we might be connected to the rose, the feminine energy and the more yin energy. And it's the divine feminine.
mm,
And in my meditation practice, taking a little bit of the rose essence or having a little bit of rosewood essential oil or sitting with rose tea or even just bringing the energy of the rose into my field of awareness, into my consciousness, has brought such a softening and a clearing and a grounding into my life over the last few months. And yeah, so that's my spiritual practice now is really sitting with the energy of the rose and other flower essences, but right now it's really the rose and drinking tea and sitting in Reiki meditation, moving my body, practicing a little bit of channeling, and yeah, being as present as I can be for my loved ones, for my clients,
Mm.
for myself, for
Oh,
all of life.
so
Yeah.
beautiful. I have my rose tea right next to me. I was
Oh,
inspired by. Yeah, the rose has been such a powerful reflection for me too, and also just the thorns kind of growing on the rose, thinking about the full integration of the
yes.
beauty. There's so much there.
Yeah, that's why I love the rose wood because it's not the rose itself, it's, the actual um stem.
Mm,
When you think about the rosewood oil, I think so much more about the stems and the leaves and all of that rather than just the blossom, because there's so much magic in the entire plant. And as a herbalist, I love to weave the whole plant into what I create.
I
So
love
rather
that.
than having rose tea be just the rose petals, I like to have the rose hips be a part of it. Or if I'm doing dandelion tea, okay, maybe I'll put in the flowers and the roots in with the leaves as well, just to really have the entirety of the plant available. And it just brings such a beautiful synergy. So even
Oh,
with a rose, there's just such a beautiful combination when you can enjoy all the
put it
different.
all of the elements of the rose. I love
Yeah.
that so much. Um, okay, speaking of herbalism, would you like to share a little bit about? I love flowers and have just been starting to get into more of like the oils and the essences, but there's so much that I think maybe people would love a little explanation and just kind of how you see plants and the beauty of it all.
I feel like I need to close my eyes and just speak truly from a place of yeah.
Mm.
There's like the herbalist in me, and then there's the higher herbalist in me, and then
Oh.
there's the more like physical herbalist in me.
Oh.
I think the more higher herbalist in me wants to speak right now, and the more higher herbalist, the more esoteric spiritual herbalist in me really sees plant spirits as very intelligent beings, very similar to humans, in which we are not just of the earth, we are also part of divine consciousness. And the plant spirits are also fully susceptible, fully vulnerable to the energies of the heavens, of the cosmos, of what's going on in the etheric realms and what's happening astrologically. And each plant, each flower, they all have their own vibrational signature. And, we're talking about crystals. I have here this green jade, and the way
Mm.
that I see crystals working is that they are all connected in an energetic grid around the entire planet. And that, the reason that we think about green jade being connected to the heart and healing and, feeling connected to the earth is because, they're all connected to one another. And if we bring intention and awareness to that frequency, it will magnify that and it will amplify in that way. And just, part of my, first spiritual awakenings was really seeing this grid network on our planet
Mm.
and seeing how crystals are in communication with each other, how animals are in communication with each other, how humans, the collective consciousness, how that is one big tapestry of energy and tapestry of light. And same with the flowers and the plants, and their consciousness extends so much farther than we could we could ever imagine. They are so vast and they are so beautiful and so rich of intelligence and energy and awareness. And choosing to step into their auric field and working with them is just it's so natural to us and it's what we've done, since we were on Earth,
Mm.
our entire existence. And there's just been such a forgetting of
Mm.
the plant knowledge over the last maybe just 100, 200 years. And ever since I really began to practice herbalism and weave it into my work and just even with myself, um, healing so many things in my own body with plants and plant spirits, is that when you start gathering your own wild medicine and you start collecting plants in your local environment and
Mm.
creating medicine with them, your body knows what to do.
Mm.
It's very hard to start foraging herbs, and I've never heard of somebody just being like, "Oh, this is too hard. Oh, I can't do this. It feels really unnatural." It's like when you decide to understand some plant identification and start to practice herbalism, whether it just be for yourself or for your family or for clients or whatever it may be, your body knows exactly what to do.
Mm.
And it switches something on in your DNA. It switches something on in your brain and your body where there's just such a illumination that happens. And that's been one of my most profound spiritual awakenings, has been coming into this remembrance of my ancestors and the earth and the intelligence of the plants and the earth and all of that. So yeah,
Oh my
that's how I see
gosh.
herbalism. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Erla, there's so much there too. I've never thought about crystals being connected like that over a grid. So that is just, this feels like a pivotal kind of understanding because it's so resonant that really I understand that completely now that you've said that. And then thinking of the plants the same way. And the energetic grid as well. I feel like I've had moments where I've physically seen it in nature, kind of, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. And
Yes.
it's only a couple of times, but it's been over this year. And that was the first time I was like, wait, am I seeing something on the ground? Is that really there? So,
Yes.
okay, I'm glad you've.
There's like light codes moving between the plants. It sounds wild, but you can see it. My relationship with plants just became so pivotal and so important. And also just I think that it switched me on to a certain sensitivity around plants,
Mm.
of being able to tune into their vibrational resonance, and maybe even in the middle of winter seeing a certain shrub that has no active chi moving in the upward part of it. Maybe it's all down in the roots at the time, but still knowing that this is this plant just based on the vibration of that plant in that moment. And
Wow.
so there's just, I think that's just one of my soul gifts, or something that my soul is really here to share and teach and bring into the world, is that our bodies know these plants and that they know how to commune with them. And it's second nature to us. We just need to be willing to open ourselves up to it and listen and hear the messages.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. That is just so beautiful. When you were speaking, I just had full body chills, just the whole
Yeah.
image of that and communing with the plants. It's like that exercise that they say in so many kind of spiritual introduction classes. It's like put your hand on a plant and see if you feel anything or and explain it. But it's so true. And we can all do that just with our plants at home and just and the story I think the teaching about if you tell the plant loving things every day versus negative things, and it's just seeing how they grow so differently. It's incredible.
It really, really is. And only in the last year have I started making my own flower essences. I've worked with flower essences and I've taken them myself and grew up around them. But this year, I decided with my friends that we were going to start creating essences in the wild this summer. And this experience that we had was so profound in realizing the intelligence of the plants and the vibrational field that they carry, because we would approach a certain flower and we would sit with it and we wouldn't say anything to each other. We would just sit near the plant and just breathe and notice what would pop into our awareness. And it was so unbelievable. We were getting the same images in our mind. Like, for example, there was this one flower called ljósberi in Icelandic, which means light worker. There's a flower called light worker.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh,
And we were sitting with this light worker flower, and we all had, all three of us, we had this image of friends healing jealousy. So
wow.
specific. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
something
so
about,
specific.
yeah, it was like, oh, I'm feeling like this flower is helping me to overcome jealousy and resentment in friendships
My gosh.
and bringing more union and connection. And then there was another one, Geldingarnappur in Icelandic, sea thrift in English. Um, and this is one of my favorite flowers to work with. the image that first came to me was a really puffy fur coat, like floor length fur coat, and black leather boots. And my friend, she had the image of herself dressed in like the most wonderful high fashion outfit. So for that, we were like, oh, this must be something with the throat chakra and expression and creativity and really, having style and allowing your, unique essence to shine through. And yeah, so they all
Oh,
have their own unique consciousness.
so cool. Are you offering these or are they kind of just for now at home with
Yeah.
you?
So I am not, I don't know if I'm creating a product line or anything in this way. And all of the herbs that I share, it's more so just in my healing sessions. So when I have clients come for a healing session, I will either create a custom flower essence for them. It might be a blend or it might just be one flower or a tincture or a tea. But I'm working mostly with tea, herbal infusion blends, and flower essences. It just feels like such a natural and beautiful way to integrate them into our lives and also is so conducive to creating a beautiful ritual at
Mm.
home. Just sitting with yourself in your journal or in meditation and seeing what the plant moves through our awareness.
Oh my gosh, that just sounds like such a beautiful experience to come and have this beautiful custom,
Hmm.
whatever it is, but just made for specifically for each client. That's so
Yeah.
special.
Yeah, because I mean, of course, there's so many things that we move through, whether it be, personal things in our own evolution or, in our having struggles in our relationships or career or purpose, like whatever it may be, the flowers and the plants, they are so attuned
Mm.
to what we're moving through. And, it's because we are nature. There's all these different patterns of consciousness that are mirrored in us as humans and in nature and in the cosmos. It really is, heaven, earth, and human. It's all the same the same consciousness.
Oh, I love it. Along with that, we talked about channeling, or you mentioned that a little bit, and that's something that I too have felt a pull to, and I'm kind of diving in a little bit. But what has that looked like for you? Is that something that's been more natural, where you're just kind of sitting and it just kind of arrives, or was it something that you had to sort of actively work on developing?
This is such a beautiful question, and I it's interesting. I've always been so interested in it, and a lot of my greatest spiritual awakenings, in addition to what I've already shared, have been experiencing channeling sessions with other practitioners.
Mm.
So going to an Akashic Records readings or going to a Michael reading. Do you know about the Michael teachings?
I have it and I've been meaning to read it. It's like I've started it, but I'm reading always like 10 books at once. So it's,
Yeah, it's really interesting. Actually, you don't even really have to read the entire book. You could just do I mean, I recommend it for sure. Um, but there's a test you can do, and it's like a Michael website, and you can do your soul age test.
oh,
Yeah, so you can read about that and you can see if it resonates. But for me, it's really resonated, although I've had like two separate readings and just at different points in my life, and I think my soul was just
mm.
accelerating very rapidly, so my soul age kind of progressed, um, and my role as well.
So
But
cool.
yeah, so yeah, the Michael teachings is a channel system in the Akashic Records. There's a certain prayer, the pathway prayer. Are you familiar with the
I
work
don't
of
tell
Linda
you.
Howe?
I'm reading that book right now. It's sitting next to me. I'm
Hmm.
almost done. I started it on Sunday and I
Yes.
actually have been learning to open the records. So I opened
Yes.
them before our call just to
Same.
let,
Oh my gosh. Wow. I knew you.
yeah.
I knew you were into her work, and the pathway prayer just resonates with me so much and feels very comfortable and nourishing for me. Also because I do come from a Christian background, so just the languaging feels really resonant for me. And it's funny. Yeah, you started reading it recently. Like same with me. I just
Yeah.
read that book and I devoured it.
So easy to just, I'm like, I can't put it down. And
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah, and there have been periods in my life where I've had the book next to me and my spirit has just been saying, "Okay, there's a message for you in the records. Are you going to open it up?"
Oh,
Then there's some fear in me or some part of me that maybe wants to hold on to the old story or hold on to what's comfortable. And then I'm like, no, I'm going to put the book away. I'm going to stick with what I know. But then
yeah.
in these moments where I am feeling really resourced and empowered and ready to open up to my intuition and to trust and to surrender, that's when I feel really called to go into the records
Mm,
and see what wants to come through. And I hadn't been working within the records for quite some time up until this April.
mm,
And that was actually right before the first dip into my Saturn return. So I was in the first dip of
gosh.
my Saturn return from April through June. And right around that time, I had this deep craving to go into my records. And the messages that were coming through at that time were so beautiful and so profound. And um, yeah, I haven't been channeling as much recently, but I feel like I've just been in such a receptive and open and present state that I'm just in full surrender
Mm,
to whatever my spirit wants of me. And that's part of my Reiki practice and my meditation and sitting with the rose is really so I wouldn't say that I pray because I feel like when I say that I'm praying, it's that I'm asking for something, but I'm never really asking for things. It's more so saying, I'm ready to receive this,
mm,
or I'm ready to know more about this, or
mm.
please show me the way, rather than saying, like, I would like this house, or I would like this friend, whatever it may be. It's like, I feel that a lot of channeling can come through me just sitting in prayer and having my hands in gasho in prayer position at my heart and just and even in my journaling of, what does my spirit want me to know today? What does my spirit, want from me today? Or just being in this vast, open Reiki connection and just seeing what wants to come through. And so much of my creativity and work has come to me just sitting in that openness. So I love the pathway prayer. I love the Michael teachings. I think mediumship and channeling is beautiful. Um, but I think even just Reiki and flower essences really support me in channeling as well.
Oh my gosh, that's so magical and beautiful. And I feel like just sitting, just the act of being receptive and open and like asking
Mhm.
for what is of the highest good for all and just like allowing whatever to is meant to be to come in is just
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
magical.
And that's one thing I love about the work of Linda Howe and in the way that she teaches the Akashic Records and the pathway prayer process is that you don't necessarily always have to know who your guides are or who your master's teachers and loved ones
Mm,
are, and that they don't always want to reveal themselves because it's at the end of the day, that's not what's important. It's not about their ego as a spirit needing to come through. It's more so about the message being conveyed and that is for the highest good of all and so that we can be of more service on our planet, right?
mm.
Um, and sitting in prayer, saying the opening, the pathway prayer or not, or just, sitting with myself in presence and just asking my guides, whoever wants to come through that day, show me how I can be of service today.
Mm.
Show me how my spirit can be of service today. Um, I am open to receiving support and guidance and radiating more love and compassion today towards myself and others. And yeah, even just in saying this, it kind of brings me to the Reiki precepts as well. It's
Does
like
me
that
too.
is a pathway prayer process.
Oh,
And
it
it's,
is. I had never put that together, but it is.
yeah. So
Ugh.
just for anyone listening who may not be aware of the Reiki precepts, these are, precepts is a prayer basically, and it's the energetic set point. It's the energetic baseline that we want to be in to connect with our highest good, our highest self, universal oneness energy, which is Reiki, God, the divine Tao, creator, source.
All of it.
Yeah, it's Reiki is just life, intelligent energy, the energy that brings pattern to vibration. And the Reiki precepts are the foundation of connecting us to our true nature. And the founder of the system of traditional Japanese Reiki, Mikao Usui, created the precepts in this way where we're saying that just today, which in Japanese Buddhism is just a way of saying, okay, just in this present moment, no anger, no worry, not from a place of like negating those emotions, but because when we reside in those emotions and those feelings excessively, they pull us out of the present. So, really, what that means is in this moment, allow yourself to be present, be grateful, humble, grateful for this moment, live true to your way and your being. Be honest in your work and everything that you do. Allow it to come from your true nature and be compassionate with yourself and others. And when we tune in this way with our hands in prayer, this is when we come into the vibration of our true self. And that is also channeling, right?
Oh, it is. I've had
Yeah.
that realization a little bit too, where I was like, okay, do I want to intentionally sit and channel? But then I'm like, wait, this is all the same. We're all connecting and everything in a way is channeling. And even you speaking so incredibly beautifully now, I mean, I think you're channeling such divine messages. It's just so powerful.
Yeah.
It's also interesting when you mentioned April with your Akashic kind of journey that had my first Akashic session
Mhm.
around then and had such profound spiritual awakenings from that. So it's just interesting how kind of connected we are. And I think probably all of our Reiki
Mhm.
sisters are with these sort of timelines. And it's just another sort of validation and kind of
Mhm.
just wherever we are, we're all so connected. And yeah, back
Yeah,
to that grid idea as well. We're all
absolutely.
connected.
Oh, wow.
Okay. We haven't really talked about Reiki too much yet, so I'd love to hear more about your sessions and your practice and your journey, how you found Reiki. I know this could be an entire episode, but maybe whatever feels right for you to share.
Yeah. Oh, just having recited the precepts with my eyes closed and my hands in prayer position just a few moments ago, I already feel such an opening and a clearing, and I just have this desire to close my eyes and bring
Mm,
my hands over my heart and just bask in that energy because when we bring our awareness to the Reiki energy, it's not that we're switching it on. And I think that's where our lineage and the way that we practice may differ from maybe other practitioners or energy healing modalities because it's not that we're like activating or switching anything on. It's that we're remembering and
mm,
coming into presence and noticing that this energy is always here and
mm,
it's always available. It's just about us um, being clear vessels and being in the correct state of mind with ourselves and with others and our environment to create the conditions required for this energy to flow freely without inhibition. And um, my work as a healer is that, right? It's creating the conditions for the intelligence of the body and the spirit and the heart to do what it knows how to do already.
mm.
Uh, so
Oh,
that's really how I work within the system of Reiki. And yeah, excited to deepen into it over the course of my life. It's so funny because 2 years ago, I was in kind of a different place and I knew that I wanted to devote fully to becoming a Reiki master and practicing hands-on healing and having people come onto the treatment table and doing healing work. But I had this limiting belief that I was too young.
I
And
relate
that
to that.
yes, yes, and that nobody would come to me because who am I? I'm just a little girl. I'm not like, I'm not a little girl.
Yeah.
I'm I'm 29 if anybody is listening and wondering, okay, what's too young?
Your
I'm
soul age, though, is probably.
yeah. 3,000.
Yeah.
No. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I had this fear that I was too young and that, okay, maybe when I'm in my 40s or my 50s, that's when I can step into the healing arts. And until then, I'm just gonna, become an entrepreneur and do other things. And I really put myself into this blocked place of thinking that I wasn't ready. And then I got very, very sick shortly thereafter when I was having this realization. And I just was feeling so stuck in my career and what I was working with at the time, and really knew that I wasn't wanting to work in a corporate job anymore, and that I really wanted to create something from a soul-led place. And it just became very clear to me that, okay, you need to really, really step into your light and your gifts, and it really is now or never. And
Mm.
sometimes when we're sick, we get our greatest revelations. And I feel like it always happens that when I'm really sick, whether it be like a flu or whatever it might be, that my body just has a surprise for me. Like something gets pulled up from deep in my body or in my subconscious that needs to be moved through. And yeah, it was 2 years ago that my body was just, it just got turned on. Like, okay, you need to do this now.
Wow.
So I don't even know how I found Laura, and I had already had my first Reiki attunement in 2017, years ago, and had been practicing, but I didn't really resonate as much with my teacher, and I didn't feel like I wanted to continue that path.
Mm.
And I don't even really know when I began um, connecting with Laura, but it just became very, very evident that I had to travel to California to study
Oh.
and practice. And ever since coming back from our Reiki master retreat about a year ago, there's just been such a purification and such a knowing that this is exactly what I'm meant to be doing. And
Mm.
I really just haven't looked back. And I just felt like ready right away. It was like, and I know that's like kind of a unique experience and not everybody has it in that way, but it was just, okay, I just kind of ran with it, you know?
It's time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I love that you don't remember how exactly you found Laura too. I think that's so, it just
Yeah.
evolved. That's so cool.
She popped into my awareness and I was really sick and I somehow found myself on her website. And it was 2 months before I would have gone to the Reiki to the Okuden training. And it was 2 months before, and I was like, I'm going. And I
Mm.
told my husband, I'm going. I told my mom, I'm going. And they were like, okay, this is in 2 months. This is a huge
Big trip to
financial
Iceland.
investment. And like, you're going from Iceland. This is crazy. I was like, yeah, but I'm going. And they were like, okay, we can't stop you. So it
Uh,
was a soul drive. Yeah, it just had to happen in that way.
I felt the same knowing as soon as I found Laura's website. I was like, okay, this is who my
Hmm.
teacher is going to be. It was just this instant resonance and
Yeah.
knew I'd do go all the way to master. And
Yes.
yeah, that instant knowing was
Mhm.
immediate as well.
So beautiful. Also because, I mean, there's so many different teachers out there, and just when a person is blessed to find a teacher that they resonate with, it's just the greatest gift.
Mm.
And I actually don't know if I have shared this with you, Meredith, but I continued studying with her, and I'm still studying with her. And I went forward in the breathwork facilitator,
Yes, I knew
integrated
you
healing
did that,
training.
and I'd love to hear about that.
Yes. Yeah. So now part of my Reiki practice and my healing arts practice is weaving the breathwork in. And I had never experienced breathwork in that way until we were in our circle together. So I
Beautiful.
genuinely thought breathwork was yoga, pranayama, and
Mm.
I've practiced many different types of yoga. I grew up obviously in a yoga household and have practiced Kundalini yoga, and I've done all the different
Mm.
wild breathing pranayama techniques that there are to do, the ones that you feel like your body might break.
Literally,
Maybe
literally.
different difficult ones. Um, so I didn't know what I was getting myself into whatsoever, having a breathwork therapy session. And coming out of that experience, it was just automatic, like, okay, this is really, really powerful, and the world is ready for this, and
Mm.
really felt like an important piece for me to have in my toolkit. And so the training was from April through June, and our homework was to do the breath every single day, whether it be for 1 minute or 30 minutes. You never really go more
Wow.
than 30 minutes of the active breath because it becomes psychedelic. It is a psychedelic experience, and you can
Yes.
go into a delta state and it can knock you unconscious, basically. And that's kind of what happens. You start. genuinely tripping just off your own off
Yeah,
your own glands. It's unbelievable.
it is.
So profound. If anybody's listening hasn't experienced breath work, yeah, I can send you some resources. But it is such a powerful tool, as you know, and that in combination with the Reiki, what has been very clear to me is that, the breath is our spirit.
Mm,
And breath is our direct access to life force energy. It's
mm,
how we receive energy. Also, just, as light through our bodies, through our skin, through our eyes, and every part of us. But the breath is the spirit. And the moment that a person stops breathing, that's when their spirit leaves the body, right? And just having this connection of the breath is the spirit and having that understanding in the healing arts has been so profound because in Reiki, we are creating the conditions for the intelligence of the body and the spirit to do what it naturally knows how to do. And
mm,
when you combine that with the breath, there is such an unbelievable opening that happens because when you get your mind out of the way, the spirit can move freely through the vibrational body and make the necessary adjustments. And
oh,
it's it feels very it feels otherworldly and it feels celestial. And that's why it's so important when we set up for breathwork to bridge your connection to the earth because it does
mm,
feel, in my experience with this style of somatic breathwork therapy, is that there are other beings coming and supporting you in the process.
mhm,
And it can feel like there's like maybe like somebody pressing down or
mm.
holding you down or lifting you up, or that there's like little taps happening throughout your aura, or there's
Oh,
visions, or you're seeing things and you don't feel alone in that moment. And it feels like there's support coming from other realms. And it's
oh,
really, really profound.
oh my
So that
gosh.
is like, I'm really interested actually in seeing what would happen um, in opening the records and
Mm,
then practicing Reiki and leading breath work. What would happen then?
wow.
I'm interested in kind of what
Oh,
kind of questions that would create.
yeah, that's incredible. I've been getting more into breathwork too, and same as you, I thought it was kind of more masculine when I first discovered it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's like Wim Hof and all of that.
Mhm.
And then the most profound experiences like crying just every time and like up in
Yes.
different worlds. I don't know where I go during it.
Exactly. You get taken somewhere and it's interesting because you can't really set the intention before going into breath work and say, okay, I'm gonna have this breath work session and I'm gonna work through my relationship with my mom.
Mm.
Okay, your spirit might have a completely different plan for you that day. You might be going into a repressed memory from age 7. Like maybe that's what's happening that day. And you just have to be, yeah, I mean, it's really important that you have a practitioner that you trust and feel supported by. And also knowing that with breath work, you can take it at an intensity that feels correct for you.
Mm,
You can go really hard and make it more of a yang experience and breathe really hard, like,
mm,
or you can have it more yin and just
mm,
and just go a lot slower.
mm,
And it'll take you a little bit more time to get to maybe a, more celestial or expanded state if you want to go there. Or you can just do it for a few minutes just to regulate your nervous system. But it's such a powerful tool and just so much can come out of it. I mean, I could talk about breath work forever, but that's been a really exciting and illuminating part of my journey and my path and is something that just feels so needed on our planet right now. And yeah,
Ugh,
breath work.
I'm excited to see how it evolves into your practice. I'm envisioning us in person one day in a circle and the
Yeah.
records are open and you're guiding us and there's Reiki. I'm
Oh,
just seeing this vision and I'm
oh, I
excited
would
for
love
it.
that. I'm like, I want to come back to California. So, oh, yeah, one day I will come.
Yes, or we'll all go to Iceland.
Yes.
Love that.
Amazing.
I know we're getting close to the end of our time, so I'll do a few kind of quick questions. We'll see how
Mhm.
quick they are, but
Mhm.
okay, I guess quickly, I'm curious if there are any guides that you're connected to that you'd like to mention.
Oh, okay. I feel so connected to ravens.
Oh, I love that.
Hmm. And ravens always come to me as a sign that I'm on the right path. And ravens, not crows. Like I feel like sometimes there's a misunderstanding. Like the really big ravens,
Mhm.
they are very mystical and are part of my ancestry in Iceland.
Mm.
The ravens were really, really important with the Vikings and just
Oh.
old Iceland history that the ravens are really, really intelligent and keepers of the land and just hold such a connection to the mystical realm, similar to here in the US, how there's a connection with the hawk.
Mm.
The ravens in Iceland have really, really been a powerful spiritual totem. So whenever I see ravens, I just feel really connected and connected to my truth. And rainbows as well. It's like,
Oh, these
such
are
a common one,
so
I feel.
magical. Oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
Like ravens and rainbows are my signs and guideposts. But as far as beings go, I feel so I don't have a specific connection to, or maybe I do. And this is like, I don't even know. It's just like I'm having a hard time admitting it to myself, but I feel really connected to the story of Jesus Christ and Christ consciousness. And
Mhm.
I know you have read the book, The Freedom Transmissions, by Carissa Schumacher. It's a really, really beautiful book about Christ consciousness and it's channeled. And to me, Jesus Christ and the vibrational frequency of Christ consciousness is just love.
Mm.
And it's also Reiki.
Mm.
And love is the binding force, the intelligence of our earth and of the universe. And that's compassion, right? Um, so I feel really connected to the story of Jesus Christ. And I don't necessarily follow the Bible or Christianity in that way, but just the teachings of Jesus Christ really resonate with me. Um,
I love that so much. I'm soul family right there with you. I just,
yeah.
oh, I love that. And then I guess next quick question related sort of to that, your top book recommendation at the moment. I know we've talked about a few.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Ah, so many. It's so hard. I'm an avid reader, but I think a book that's really been transformational for me this year is A Path with Heart by Jack Kornfield. And
Mm.
this was actually recommended to me by our teacher, Laura.
Mm.
Um, it's it's just, yeah, a guide to beginning the spiritual path and a meditation practice and how healing is required on this path of spirituality.
I love that. I have that. I haven't read it. It's somewhere on my bookshelf, so I need to pull
Yeah.
that to
I
the
kind of
top.
just flip through it. I don't like fully read it back to back. There's certain parts I just really resonate with. Yeah.
I love that.
Mhm.
Okay, and then I do some sort of affirmation recordings every so often. So I wanted to ask what your current affirmations that you are telling yourself or would tell yourself or would share with the world,
Mm.
anything coming to you.
I am a victorious soul. Mm.
Mhm.
I'm a
I love that.
victorious soul. Yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah. Being a victorious soul, just knowing that we've overcome so much and have moved through so much, and that we have all the information and energy we need inside of us to be, victorious and successful and powerful creators of our lives.
oh, that's so powerful. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, and last question then, where can everyone find you? I'll link all of this in the show notes, but I know they can find you on, I think, airlesssoul.earth, right? Is your
Yes.
website.
Yes. So ERLASOL.earth. That's my website. And then on Instagram, I am at Erla2_soul. ERLASOL.
Beautiful. And then I wanted to also talk quickly about the beautiful Soul Sanctuary membership that you just launched, which is so exciting. And I was just there for your first meeting, and it was so special and beautiful. And I'm so excited to see how it evolves. And you have so much in there, like in the whole membership, it's like meditations and all of these recommendations. Your whole book list is in there. So there's so much. It's so beautiful.
Thank you so much for mentioning that. And it's such an honor and a privilege and a joy to have you as part of our
Oh,
community as a founding
thank
member. It's
you.
just so sweet. And thank you. You really said it. The Soul Sanctuary is everything that I feel like I would have wanted and needed in the beginning of my spiritual journey. Community, devotion, accountability, resources, chat, consistent meetings, everything. So that's really what it is. And I'll be sharing breathwork and Reiki and all the meditations that I love and practice. And
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
thank you.
so excited. I think I'll see you maybe 2 days for
Yeah,
the next meeting.
I'm so
Oh,
excited.
so exciting that this too is kind of being birthed after this sort of year-long period since the Reiki master retreat together. So it just feels,
Right?
again, such aligned timing with everything.
It really is. Yeah. I just realized that earlier today. It's like, wow, exactly. Yeah, one cycle.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Erla. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, I am just so thankful and inspired by you and your light and your beauty and your grace and the way you communicate and articulate. And just is such a gift to be connected with you, Meredith. I am just, yeah, in awe of your beauty and just
Oh,
touched by your spirit and excited to be in community and connection with you going forward.
Erla, I could cry. Thank you. You are such a ray of light in the world, and I see you in the exact same way. You're such a beautiful, again, like an earth angel is truly
Thank you.
the only way I can describe you. You're just the most divine, beautiful light. And just seeing
Yes.
you make such a difference in the world is I'm so grateful to be here. Here following your path and your teachings, and I'm excited to see you hopefully I mean I know digitally we'll see each other soon, but hopefully can give
Yeah,
you a
we
hug
will.
in person soon.
We absolutely will. I'm coming to California and yeah,
Yay. Oh, thank you so much, Erla. Thank you for taking the time and your light and just sharing and being here. And I'm so grateful.
thank you.
Oh,
Well, thank you,
okay.
Meredith. I'll
Thank
talk to you
you.
soon.
Yes. Bye, love. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of All the Above. I hope you found some wisdom, insights, remembrances within yourself, and I hope you remember how beautiful and divine you are and that you have so much to offer and bring to this world. And your gifts are so needed. You're so needed exactly as you are. And with that, if I haven't said it yet, I want to send you so much love and light. And thank you so, so much for being here. I hope you have the most magical day, and I will see you soon. Bye.